New medicine brings hope to countless people, but prices often vary greatly from country to country. A drug can cost $3,000 in Switzerland, but $6,000 in the United States, and $1,000 in South Africa. How these glaring differences come about is not as straightforward as you might think. We're going to take a look at how drugs are priced, how these prices can change over locations and time, and finally, why drug prices are stirring controversy. Let's take a novel cancer drug for early and advanced breast cancer. It was developed in Switzerland, where two of the largest companies, Roche and Novartis, sell drugs all over the world. Once regulators approve the drug, the manufacturer announces a so-called list price. There are no global rules dictating what criteria a company should use to come up with that price. Manufacturers say they take into account the uniqueness and efficacy of the drug, the expected size of the patient population, the number of doses those patients need, as well as the costs to research, develop, and bring the drug to market. Every new treatment has undergone various tests to prove it is safe and works. Our example drug has the ability to block cancer cells from receiving growth signals. In clinical trials, women with advanced stage cancer who received the drug lived on average 2 years longer than with existing treatments. Some 75% of women with early stage cancer were completely cancer-free after 5 years of treatment. In other words, a success. But many treatments fail along the way. Drug manufacturers say that they charge a price that allows them to recoup their investment and make profit. But as mentioned at the beginning of the video, a drug can have different price tags depending on where it's been sold. Here's why. Like many drugs, the breast cancer drug is first approved and sold in the United States. This is where the manufacturer announces its price for the first time, $6,000 per dose, which can amount to $150,000 per patient over the prescribed treatment period. But $6,000 isn't the final price. It's like the sticker price on a car. The manufacturer adjusts the list price depending on the economic situation of a country, which is why the new breast cancer drug is listed at only $1,000 in South Africa. This is the most obvious reason for price differences, but it's not the only one. It also depends on whether drug prices are regulated in a country, and if so, how. The US government, for example, leaves it up to manufacturers, private insurers, and other intermediaries to work out prices. This is why drug prices have been much higher in the US. The situation is changing though. In 2022, the US government introduced a law to allow it to negotiate the prices of some prescription drugs for people on the state-run Medicare program. Most countries regulate prices in some way. Let's take the example of Switzerland, where basic insurance is mandatory. The Federal Office of Public Health adds drugs to what they call the specialties list, if they are effective, appropriate, and economical. The office also specifies the maximum reimbursement amount for a drug. To assess the cost effectiveness, the office compares the price of the new drug to those already on the market. It also compares prices in countries with similar economic and demographic situations. In a hypothetical example, the Swiss Health Office found that the new cancer drug is about 60,000 Swiss francs more expensive per patient than existing treatments, but the benefits justify this. The price is also on par with what's been charged in France, Germany, and the Netherlands. Some countries are also assessing the value of a new drug using factors such as cost savings by the healthcare system because patients make fewer doctor visits. If health authorities and drug manufacturers disagree on the price, they will negotiate. What makes negotiations challenging is that new drugs have only been used in clinical trials at this point. It is therefore unclear how effective the drug will be in a wider population and how many doctors will prescribe it. To deal with this uncertainty, governments, health insurers, and other payers may attach certain conditions to the price agreement. They can demand further evidence, but can also agree on discounts if a certain quantity is sold. Even then, drug prices are not set in stone. While the new breast cancer drug is protected by patents, usually for up to 20 years, the manufacturer has the sole right to sell it and negotiate prices. This exclusivity allows it to generate significant revenue and is intended to incentivize investment in new treatments. Once these rights expire, other manufacturers can enter the market and sell the drug. This creates competition, resulting in lower prices. There are other reasons prices for new drugs may change over time. The Swiss authorities review drug prices every 3 years and often adjust them downwards. The price of a new drug might also change if it is approved for other diseases, also called indications. In Switzerland, the Health Office also sets prices for off-patent medicines, including generics and biosimilars, which are copies of existing medicines. In countries like the US, Germany, and the United Kingdom, these are open to the free market. Manufacturers may change prices over time, depending on supply and demand, and what they believe customers are willing to pay. Drug prices stir controversy all around the globe as they continue to rise, especially new drugs for cancer. And for rare diseases that only affect a small portion of the population, some treatments have arrived on the market at prices in the millions. This is completely unaffordable for most people. Even wealthy countries like Switzerland, which have a well-developed insurance system, are feeling the strain of rising drug prices. Manufacturers may justify price increases with their investment in innovative technologies. But it's hard to say what role other factors play in pricing, including higher profit margins at drug companies and intermediaries. It's a black box, because even many company contracts with governments are confidential. Whether a drug is expensive also depends on one's perspective. The prices of some old generics have dropped so low that companies no longer want to produce them. They are no longer profitable. This has led to shortages of commonly used medicine like antibiotics. Pharmaceutical companies are increasingly arguing that the price of a drug should be based on its value and not on how much it costs to develop or manufacture it. But this begs difficult questions about the true value of drugs. How much would you pay for 5 extra years of life?